Jai Sriman Narayan.
Jai Sriman.
Jai Sriman Narayan.
Jai Sriman.
I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome Mother Lakshmi in a form as Maha Kali on this third day of our Navaratri celebrations at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those of you that are physically present at the Sri Narayan Dham and those that are watching this discourse locally, nationally and internationally. And I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse on YouTube and on the various groups that it is posted subsequently. Our emphasis, as I've stated yesterday, on these 3 days of Maha Kali, where she is seen and described in a form that she is in combat. And you must use this form of a combat internally to combat your internal demons. You must use the Shakti of Maha Kali to combat your own internal demons. These demons have taken hold of strategic parts of your senses. And you need to now use the Shakti of Maha Kali to get rid of these demons. These demons, in the form of lust, reside in your eyes, in your organs, and in your strategic parts of your body. And this lust takes control of this vehicle that is called your body. And this lust drives this vehicle recklessly. And in this reckless maneuvering of this vehicle, you are thrown into the storms of Kali. You are thrown into the storms of Kali Yuga, not Maha Kali. Maha Kali is here to save you from the tsunami of Kali Yuga itself. Lust, anger, greed, hatred, jealousy, pride, illusion. These have taken control of all your basic strategic points in your vehicle. And they are now the driving force. So use Maha Kali and she will give you the strength, today being her last day in the form of destruction, to remove these enemies that are residing in you and exhibiting various permutations as per your previous karma or as per the proportion of your previous life's karma. Then we use these occasions to expound Vedanta. We use these occasions because it is the instruction in the Devi Mahatmyam to use this Navaratri to become spiritual. And in order to become spiritual, one needs to attain spiritual knowledge. In order to become spiritual, one needs to attain spiritual knowledge. So in line with the Navaratri celebrations, in line with the injunctions of Mother Lakshmi in the three forms, in line with the Shastras itself, we now expound Vedanta in its absolute form. And the question was posed on the Sri Narayan Dham messenger today by someone that has been following our discourses for a long, long time. And he stated, Acharya ji, you took the Bhagavad Gita and you did readings yesterday from a Swami of Advaita and a Swami of Dvaita. You have already established that Lord Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why are you continuing to give this discourse in terms of Vishishtadvaita? Why don't you read the Bhagavad Gita from the platform of the Sri Sampradaya? So this follower asked all of these questions humbly, and I want to answer him as follows. We are living in an age of information technology, whereby information is at the fingertips of whoever can get hold of a cell phone. In a month's time, my own granddaughter will be 1. And if I can afford at that point in time, what do you think would be the present I would buy? A tablet. A tablet, so that she can watch her cartoons, because she's already watching cartoons on the phone. Okay? So by the time she is 4 years old, or 3, she would have heard the word Vishishtadvaita how many times?
Thousands of times.
And she would know how to go on internet and type Vishishtadvaita. What she would find on Vishishtadvaita on the internet. It is a philosophy of Lord Sriman Narayan. When she becomes 6 or 7, she would type Dvaita and Advaita and Vishishtadvaita. And she would find that these 3 philosophies is from the system or religious system that she is born from. And she will find contradiction in these three philosophies. She will find contradiction. For any one of these philosophies to exist, the other two cannot exist. So at the age of 7, due to information technology, she would find that she is in a religion that is more chaotic than being an atheist. Don't you think? She would find herself in a religion that is in total contradiction to itself. Why would she think that at the age of 7? Because the information is at her fingertips. So in this age of information technology, if you surf, I learned this phrase recently, if you surf the net. I learned another phrase as well, I'll drop a mail. Alright? These will be common sentences for my granddaughter. But for me it is something new. I knew to post a mail and I knew to search in the internet. But people are surfing the net and dropping a mail. Okay? In my pursuance of validating Vishishtadvaita as Absolute Vedanta, I cannot subsist with the other two philosophies side by side. Can I? Because they are in contradiction to the philosophy of Vishishtadvaita. In my search about 8 years ago for Lord Narayan, whilst I surfed the net, I could not find him there. I could not find him there adequately to impress upon me that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what I found was by Western scholars who learned Sanskrit and translated, not spiritually, but materially, the Vedas from Sanskrit to English. And this was dry information. It could not light up or touch my soul. So I'm asking you, is there content, adequate content, that my granddaughter can find at the age of 7, if she was 7 today, and she wanted to know the difference between the three philosophies that exist in Sanatana Dharma, to convince her to remain in this system. Is there any information? So don't you think somebody needs to fearlessly produce information that can be found through information technology? I'm talking to my live audience.
Yes.
Present physical audience that's here in the satsang. What do you think? That is it necessary to continue expounding Vishishtadvaita as we have been doing? Because these discourses are found in YouTube and posted around the world through its various groups. Should we have any fear in expounding the absolute truth?
No.
No fear. Am I a lone crusader? Revolting against these other two philosophies? Do I have an agenda? Am I causing disruption in Sanatana Dharma?
No, you're simply spreading the truth.
Simply, does the truth need to be spread? And what was my impetus for this truth to be spread? Sri Narayan Dham was launched in
May. Officially.
Last year, January 6th and 7th. And I started this series in earnest when? After May, this year. And what was my reason for starting the Vishishtadvaita series? What was my driving force?
There were people that were trying to hijack Lord
Yes.
Sri Ramanuj.
A handful of devotees with ISKCON branding was trying to hijack the Sri Sampradaya of Lord Sri Ramanuj, and they have been at it since 2016. This is 2019. For 3 years, they've been on YouTube, and they even wrote a book whereby they stated that it was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that was predicted in the Sri Sampradaya and not Lord Sri Ramanuj. My granddaughter attending this satsang and hearing me praising Lord Ramanuj in every satsang and seen Lord Ramanuj plastered around my ashram, and her grandfather carrying the spiritual surname of Lord Sri Ramanuj. Whilst playing with a tablet, she finds this information on the internet by these miscreants of ISKCON. By these miscreants of ISKCON that have been propagating this falsity. What would she think of the Sri Narayan Dham?
She'll think we are lying.
She would think that Lord Sri Ramanuj is not the foremost Vaishnavite saint in the 28th Kali Yuga. And she might leave this ashram and join another religion. She might leave this ashram and join another religion because of the confusion. So I, through these action of these miscreants, decided to set the Sri Sampradaya in its proper perspective with the teachings of Lord Sri Ramanuj as the foremost Vaishnavite saint. And I've stated and I've shown evidence that when there is an alternate philosophy propagated, it is done through the impetus of the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. After Lord Sri Krishna left, just over 5,000 years ago, chaos reigned on earth. People started senselessly sacrificing animals for whatever reason they could find. And Lord Narayan incarnated as Lord Buddha and booted out the Vedas. Lord Shiva incarnated as Adi Shankar Acharya and postulated a trans-theistic philosophy by re-establishing certain portions of the Vedas. By re-establishing certain portion of the Vedas, because at that point in time, when the entire Vedic knowledge was wiped out in India, he only lived for 32 years. How long? 32 years. In this 32 years, he had enough time to kick out Buddhism and Jainism and reel in the Vedas. Certain aspects of the Vedas that could entice people 1,200 years ago to start accepting the Vedas again. To start accepting the Vedas again. So, was he instrumental in a positive change in Sanatana Dharma? Yes or no? Yes. What he did? He reeled in the Vedas. And Lord Shiva is the highest ranking Vaishnavite. Lord Shiva is the highest ranking Vaishnavite. He incarnated as Adi Shankar and reeled in the Vedic injunctions. He modified it to suit a certain time and a certain mindset. A certain time and a certain mindset. The fact that he could re-establish the Vedas at that point in time was more important than with what content he established it. Do you understand? Because his aim was to re-establish the Vedas, which were totally disintegrated. It was out of the mind of followers of Sanatana Dharma in India. You understand? All of you? Lord Sri Ramanuj lived for 120 years. Adi Shankar lived for 32 years. In his time period, he had enough time to entice the people through a certain philosophy to reel them in back to the Vedas. And Lord Sri Ramanuj had 4 times his lifespan. How long? 4 times his lifespan. So Lord Sri Ramanuj re-established the Vedas in its absolute form. That which was written by Veda Vyas himself. You understand? Now when my granddaughter goes on the internet and reads this explanation, will she need to change her religion? Will she be confused? She'll continue watching her cartoons on one side and she'll understand the philosophy of Vedanta and Vishishtadvaita on the other side. And she'll be proud to be the granddaughter of
Acharya Sham Ramanuj.
a follower of the greatest Vaishnavite, Lord Sri Ramanuj. And who knows? She may take initiation and carry the name Ramanuj herself. All of you understand? So, in refuting the philosophy of Adi Shankar Acharya, remember, it was not everything that he stated that was false. In his enticement, he did not state the entire Vedas in his own manner. And Lord Sri Ramanuj did not reject Adi Shankar Acharya's commentary on the totality. He only rejected those that were not absolute as per Vedic injunctions. All of you understand? You understand? So the Acharya Sham Ramanuj Foundation the Sri Narayan Dham is not causing any disharmony between the components of Sanatana Dharma. We are aligning the truth so that in a few years to come, when all these 7-year-olds want to find out what their religion is and what is the absolute religion, they will not be confused as our 100-year-old Dana that's sitting in the back. He just started getting educated now, recently. All of you understand? So we are not attacking personalities that expounded these philosophies, because they were motivated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself to expound these philosophies to suit a particular mindset in a particular time, in a particular country. And today I am re-establishing what Lord Sri Ramanuj re-established 1000 years ago. So I'm going to give you another example. There are 3 philosophies. The followers of these philosophies follow their guru, their current guru, without they themselves, without knowledge of the philosophy of the founding guru or the founding principles of the founding guru of that philosophy. You understand? But today, that is going to be a problem. Why? Because of information technology. People were following the gurus like sheep. They were following the current gurus like sheep without knowing the founding guru's philosophy. And when they find out that the founding guru's philosophy is not synchronized with their way of life, how much damage will it do to them being members of Sanatana Dharma? Because the Advaita philosophy tells you that there is no personal God. God is simply undifferentiated consciousness. Okay? On the other hand, they tell you to pray for Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, Lord Ganesha, Mother Kali. Can you see the contradiction? But the reason Adi Shankaracharya brought in Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, Lord Ganesha and Mother Kali to be worshipped, because these personalities were known in India at that point in time. Remember, they were following Jainism and Buddhism, so he gave a variety of deities to be worshipped equally, because they suited, that instruction suited a particular purpose at that point in time, where they were not worshipping any deity at all. Adi Shankaracharya brought in these deities to be worshipped. Was it a positive or a negative thing that he did? It was positive. But today, can you place all of them on one platform? Today, at this point in time, can you say that God is non-differentiated consciousness? Are you understanding why it is necessary to give this discourse and refute those aspects of the philosophy that had been conjured up at that point in time to suit a particular temperament in India? You understand? Natasha is falling asleep. Because she has no children to answer to. Yet, one day when the Acharya is gone, and when the questions come pouring, may she be blessed with triplets. And may the questions come threefold. And then she'll curse herself for falling off to sleep in satsang, because those children will ask the very same question that the Guru is answering now. And Guru's word is never. All of you understand? Every one of you? So, if my granddaughter peruses to the Dvaita philosophy of Madhva Acharya, and she sees there that he states that there are three types of souls. Souls that are eternally liberated, souls that were bound that are liberated, and souls that are eternally in damnation. What does eternally in damnation mean?
Forever.
Which means you can never be liberated. Which means you can never be liberated. Whose philosophy is this? Madhva Acharya, 2 years after Lord Sri Ramanuj, he agreed in principle with about 80% of Lord Sri Ramanuj's founding Vedanta re-establishment, and then he stated that souls are eternally damned, a group of souls. And then my granddaughter will go through my discourses on my reading in the Bhagavad Gita, where it is stated that if you are the greatest of sinners, if you are the greatest of sinners, simply surrender to me and you will be saved. What would my granddaughter do? Go back to cartoons? Because the grandfather stated from the Bhagavad Gita, where the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sriman Narayan himself, stated, it doesn't matter who you are. Simply surrender to me and I will save you. So my granddaughter is going to ask me, who is greater? Will she? Dana? Madhva Acharya or Lord Narayan? Because Lord Narayan is speaking in the Bhagavad Gita. What do I answer? And how many 7-year-old granddaughters will be asking this question in Sanatana Dharma? The Bhagavad Gita is stating something that is contradictory to a philosophy that has millions of followers. Can you see the predicament that information technology has created for philosophies that are not synthesized with all of the Vedic injunctions? And Lord Sri Ramanuj 1000 years ago catered for this dilemma. Lord Sri Ramanuj 1000 years ago catered for this dilemma. What did he do? He gave us a complete synthesis of all the knowledge of the Vedas without even a millimeter of contradiction. The Sri Ramanuj Sampradaya has no contradiction with the Vedas at all. And don't you think where there is no contradiction, there is absoluteness? And do you think, again I'm asking my live audience, I remember a few years ago, it was called infomercials. You all remember watching infomercials on TV. And whilst you're watching the infomercial, then people will clap. Remember? They had a live audience and the infomercial was happening on this side, whether they liked the product or didn't like it. They all clapped. But my audience, they are still in Pittar Paksh. I think some of them straight from here is going to Putra Lok. Because you can't hear a sound. Alright. Beside Natasha, I was contemplating a triplet. Your body will carry them, Natasha, swiftly. Are there any questions? Do you think we should be brave enough in Sanatana Dharma to sort out the confusion ourselves than be dictated upon by the outside to sort out this confusion? What do you think? We should be brave enough to sort it out. And this is what Lord Sri Ramanuj prepared this information technology age for. So I don't have to research for 60 years like Lord Sri Ramanuj did. I don't have to go in the back of this Goshala. You also have a forest in the back of the Goshala. I don't have to go there and perform austerities and penances like my Guru, Swami Sudarshan Acharya Maharaj did. Lord Sri Ramanuj, Swami Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj, they packaged everything and they have handed it to me. And now I am giving it to the world. I am giving it to the world. Every Guru, in his own circumstances, in his own time, and in his own country, and in a particular dimension, expounds the absolute truth. And this is what we are doing in 2019 at the Sri Narayan Dham today in South Africa. Can we call ourselves Sri Narayan Dham if we do not expound the teachings of Lord Sriman Narayan as it is? To corroborate all the teachings, which is the most important evidence or the most logical evidence to use? The Vedas as a whole, but particularly the Bhagavad Gita, because in Sanatana Dharma we all accept Lord Narayan incarnated as Lord Sri Krishna and spoke the Bhagavad Gita. And I'm going to end to justify this discourse and corroborate it by a verse spoken by Lord Sriman Narayan himself. Chapter 16, verse 24. Therefore, let the Shastra be your authority for determining what should be done and what should not be done. Knowing what is enjoined in the injunctions of the Shastra, you should perform work here. Now, if my granddaughter had to hear this discourse and it is concluded with this verse, 24, chapter 16, can she now go back to her cartoons and have a stress-free enjoyment in playing her games? Because she don't have to think of leaving her grandfather's religion and joining another religion. She can enjoy her games, no stress, because she understood Sanatana Dharma, she understood Vedanta, she understood all the conflicting philosophies, and she understood why the conflicting philosophies were in place at the same time. And at the very end, my granddaughter knows that if there is any conflict in any philosophy, all she needs to do is open the Bhagavad Gita and get the truth. And with this knowledge, she can go to work. And what was her work?
Watching cartoons.
Watching cartoons on the tablet. Jai Sriman Narayan.